Hello. During my working life, I was very blessed to be able to have a job that wasn't just a means of earning money, but a vacation. In 1971, I graduated from university with a degree in psychology, and then was very fortunate enough to later on get a job wherein I was able to apply some of the things I'd learned and to work helping people to find resolution to conflicts and harm that they'd felt in their lives. Of course, 1971 is a long time ago, so the learning that we have as a community in psychology has absolutely grown in those years, and I've had to learn more and more new things. These days, there's a whole load of wonderful, easy to understand books that will help people if they want to learn how to deal with pain and hurt and stress in their lives, and how to achieve peace, and most importantly, what most people want, happiness. You can't read the books because they come out back to front on their screen, but this one says happier, how to be happy. This one says this book will make you mindful. Another one, this book will make you calm. And they're all talking about mindfulness techniques or cognitive behavior therapy. This book will make you happy. Another one, I love this one, 10 Secrets of Abundant Happiness. There's lots out there, and they actually contain a great deal of wisdom that if people applied it to their lives, they would feel calmer, they would feel happier, and we'd all get along a lot better. One book, though, that I should mention and want to remind you of is this one, the Bible, because all the stuff that's in these other books, you can find in the Bible. This book contains ancient wisdom to help us deal with our negative emotions and how to live good, strong, happy, purposeful lives. I just draw your attention to one or two of those examples of this ancient wisdom in the Bible. You remember Moses, during the time of the Exodus from Egypt, spent time with God upon the mountain, and then he came down with 10 simple commandments to help the people to live peaceably and be happy. And if you look at those and put them into modern language, they make so much sense. First of all, importantly, they talk about worshipping God and thinking about God. God made the world, and psychologists tell you when you look at nature and you look at the world and you experience it and you appreciate it and your heart sings with joy for the birds and the flowers and the trees, it makes you happy. And that's what worshipping God's about, appreciating the one who made everything. And there's a strong emphasis in the rules about keeping the Sabbath. Jesus said that's not to burden people, but to bless people. Again, psychologists have found that we all need to turn off, to rest, to relax. If we don't turn off, if we don't learn how to relax, then we just burn out. And there it is, ancient wisdom. Set one day a week aside to just relax, to think about the good things, to think about God, and de-stress. Honour your parents. That's one of those. Family bonds are so important, and how awful it is for young people if those family bonds are broken. Because it says in the New Testament that we should honour our parents. It says that in the New Testament as well. But also that as parents, we shouldn't test our children. Keep the family bonds. Look after your family. Real wisdom. And there's a whole load then of commands about exercising self-control, learning to recognise your impulses, and rein them in before they cause damage. One that people all know about, the pain of adultery. Somebody breaks their marriage vows or their commitment to the other person, follows their impulses. What a lot of heartache, what a lot of family breakups that causes. Another one in the Ten Commandments is about envy. What do people do when they absolutely are discontented with their lives and are envious of other people? They're not happy. Be content with what you have, it says in the New Testament. People who are envious sometimes give way and steal. How really awful it is when somebody comes and takes something that's yours, that you've worked for. I saw a little video on the Next Door Neighbour website last week of a woman in Snodland coming into someone's garden in the night time, walking straight across the garden and stealing 2 pots with strawberry plants in that the children in that house were growing. How awful to have walked past, being envious of these strawberry plants and stolen them, and the heartache it caused to those children and that family. And then, of course, in the Ten Commandments, it tells us not to kill. Now, I imagine that most people in Snodland are not tempted to kill, and that's not one that they will ever break. But you know, Jesus said that when we hate someone, it's like killing them in our hearts. Because hatred leads to all sorts of things. It leads to things like telling lies. And that's another commandment. Don't tell lies. Lies cause such a lot of harm, such a lot of hurt. Now, people do tell lies. People do commit adultery. People do steal. And that leads us all to feel hurt and upset. And sometimes that can be so deep and so painful that it just colours all our lives. And we just can't look at the trees and be happy because there's this hurt deep on. And that's where Jesus teaches us that we should learn how to practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is not saying it didn't matter. Forgiveness is not saying it didn't hurt. But forgiveness is about letting go of that hurt, of choosing not to keep on thinking about it and nursing it in our hearts. In fact, St. Paul says, don't let the sun set on your wrath. Try and deal with it even before you go to sleep. And St. Paul also said, that whatever is burdening you, you can bring it to God and leave it there. Jesus promised that God always hears our prayers. So we can, when we're worried or we're hurt or we're stressed, if we follow the ancient wisdom in the Bible, we will find that we are happier, more peaceful, and we can find joy in our lives. Why don't you have a go, have a look, especially in the New Testament. There's so much there about love and about peace and about happiness and about joy. Most people at school learn to say the Lord's Prayer. If you think about what's in the Lord's Prayer, it covers all of it. Real words of wisdom that nearly every child in school knows. We'll say it together now, and may God bless you. So, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. When I'm frightened or distressed, And I look out the window and I see God's creation, and I realise how big he is and how small I am in comparison. It's much more easy to give my problems to him because he's got bigger shoulders to carry them than I have. God bless you, and may you find that same ability to give your things to him.